Bonsoir racers, finally a championship for us to get our teeth into. So over where I've been racing at the moment, over at Ignition in Wakefield, they've announced an 8-week championship of which your best 6 results across those 8 weeks to count. So your best 6 weeks racing will count towards your final standings for a championship, which is awesome because it's also been generously sponsored by Mardave. So Mardave have offered up prizes for the Mini and Hot Hatch series, which is mega. Really chuffed that they're supporting, these series. So that's stickers for everybody. Let's go over some basic rules. Really basic. Any further details that I'm not going to cover in these the quick basic description of the rules, put a comment below. Either I or somebody will get back to you with an answer. So you can run either a Kamtec or a Mardave Mini. You can run either a Kamtec or a Mardave Hot Hatch for the 2 corresponding series. It's a 4-cell nickel metal hydride battery, a 20-turn sealed motor, or slower, so you could run a 21 or a 22, 5, 30. You just can't run a 19 because that'll be cheating and we'll find you. Or somebody will find you because I'm busy. A £50 RRP servo limit, which I think is a really generous servo limit, but that does mean that if you've already got one that you're using in other cars, you don't have to go and buy one for a tenner or 15 quid or buy something specific. So a good, bad idea, depends your point of view. Doesn't really affect me, but yeah, it's fine. As I say, any further questions, quick basic overview of the rules. As far as I can tell, any tyres go, you're allowed to source tyres as always. Pretty much standard sort of rules that you'd find with Roadmasters or anybody that used to run at Force RaceWay. Pretty much similar rules with a couple of little changes. Not 100% sure whether or not you have to run a mini shell or not. I don't think you do. So there's those little imp shells that you see. I think you're allowed to run those. I'm not sure if you can have a wing. Put your questions below and somebody will answer. So me, what will I be running? Well, I'll definitely be running my Mardave Mini. Will definitely be running in this championship. I'm definitely planning on doing a minimum of 6 rounds with the Mardave Mini. Whether I run my Hot Hatch or not, it's a bit of a secondary because there's only 4, maybe 5 heats on a night. There's a lot to do to run 2 cars competitively, so if I do choose to run my Hot Hatch on a night, I'm not looking at trying to challenge for the championship. Not that I'd be doing that with the Mini anyway, but I'll take the Mini a bit more seriously than I would the Hot Hatch. I'd just be doing it for a bit of sport and to be perfectly honest, to chase my mate. So every time he runs his Hot Hatch, I'll be making sure I try to run mine just to annoy him because that's what racers do. That's that. So we've got some of the best racers we've got arguably the best racer for minis in the country that will be doing the championship. We've got a sponsored driver or a team driver from Mardave, I should say. It'll be definitely keeping him honest and also definitely out qualifying him from time to time, whether he can convert that into race wins, hopefully, because everybody likes a bit of a change at the top from time to time. So that should encourage some better drivers as well to come, and it's going to be a close battle for the top 2, top 3 positions. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, obviously that's the top, but this is my channel, so selfishly I'm only bothered about me. So let's get into my first round, which was last Thursday. Qualifying went really, really well. The car felt dead consistent. And because I was only running the Mini, I wasn't concentrating on the Hot Hatch or anything like that. It left me time between the heats to make sure I was wiping the sauce off the tyres at 5 minutes before the race. Just making sure I had time to go over the car, just make sure it were running well. Swapping the front tyres over from side to side, not each time but halfway through. I also changed, which I've never done before, I swapped the rear tyres for the same rear tyres. I run Contact 37s and I did 2 qualies with my rear tyres as they were, and then I swapped for, not brand new, they were old, but they'd not been used that evening, so the sauce had sort of dried off a little bit, and because I ran that then for Q3 and the final, and that I really felt a difference in that. I think sometimes the tyres can go off during the course of 4 or 5 rounds. That's now on my must-do list of things, little tweaks that I need to do. Also got a chance to make sure I was going over the car, making sure nothing was... You sort of just do basic visual checks, making sure the little screws are tight, nothing's cracked, nothing's come loose, I've not got excessive play or slop anywhere. Quickly going over the motor with a little bit of cleaning here and there. Not that it's been cleaned since. That gave me a bit of chance to work on the car, and the car definitely benefited, and I benefited. It felt more confident with the car. All that tinkering and some steady qualifying actually put me in 2nd place for the B final, which is really good for me. I was really chuffed with that, but it was going to be a challenge holding on to that because everybody in the B final was really good. Right behind me was Dan, then Mark, who are really good drivers, and then Ollie. On his night, Ollie can take off and leave us all for dead. And then on pole position was John, wily old fox is John. Definitely been around the block a few times, or been around the track a few times. I don't know how to say it, John, without insinuating that you're old, mate. You are old. But anyway, John's dead consistent, so it was really up to the race. I weren't sure what I could do about it. Try not to worry about the guys behind. Race my own race, and let's see how I get on chasing John down.
So I'm back racing against John again. The quips about there being an OAP penalty has him on pole today. What? I know, it's points make prizes now.
Right, Marshall's out. Is it higher than a 4? It's a podium. Right, if you're ready, guys, put your weapons, there you go. Good for the start around the first few corners there. They're putting pressure on John already. Keeping him honest. Still all the stars, orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. John just managing to pull out a slight cushion there. Looks like Craig's a bit quicker in the infield though, catching him up again. Only half a second in. With the leader and 2nd place. 3rd place, 0.6 of a second further back. Then holding it, then taking the sideline there. In the top corner onto the straight. Really keeping John on his here, keeping with him. I think this is the best I've seen Sam Baggins drive, to be honest. As we get through there, I think I was only letting him through. That was only catching corner and the other roll. John will return to place there, we'll find out if he goes the line next time. John now managing a 1 second lead. Still only starters orders, believe it or not. Fastest lap at the moment. That's his shared by Brent and Dan, 9:03 apiece there of them. John managing a 9:07 at present. Brent still staying in front with John, just another second behind him. And the car on the straight, be careful. I think that's all he goes for.
The running order at 2 minutes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then we're a bit slow there, coming through the bottom corner. Now 1.5 seconds behind John. John has to keep it clean. His friends are far behind him, looks like the space will be all over him. 2.5 minutes nearly run now. Oh, he has trouble again in bottom corner. John now extending that lead a little bit, just over 2 seconds. I think Ben's just relaxed a little bit, he's keeping the pressure on. He's made a little bit of time there, there's a bit of an instant 1.4 seconds. John's back inside against on him. Oh no, then Ben's just made a mistake. I'm going to excuse that one on the usual video. What happened there, Ben?
Drinking! Too much booze!
I'm sure I'll give the one man jumped out or something or something like that. John extended his lead out in front. 2.4 seconds behind
Cheers,
him,
Alex.
Ben. 3.3 behind him is Dan. First 3 all the same lap. In bottom corner. 2.9 seconds now, Ben. Come on, squeeze that trigger finger a bit harder. Let it go a little bit faster. 2 minutes left to go.
The running order at 4 minutes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And he's got a foot wrong so far, keeping it very clean. Renzo down to 1 point just that so far. Even though he's looking really popping the wheel in the corner, he's lifting the rear wheel up. Still driving it well. John there coming across the back marker there, he lets him through nice and plainly. Oh yeah, that was all sorts of trouble. Then now going to got a couple of back markers in between him and John. It's still less than 3 seconds, Brett, so it won't take much. Fastest lap at the moment is down 8.95, Brett 8.98. John still only got 9.07 at the minute. Well into the last minute now, 45 seconds now left. And it looks like we've missed the lap for John somewhere, so they know they haven't made a mistake. So we're going to have to add that one on at the moment.
Try then, John. Try, buddy.
4, 5.
Effort went in then.
So that has got to be one of my best and most consistent races. I know it kind of looked a bit boring to watch, but for me, very intense battle. I even managed to hold on to John for the first 10, maybe 12 laps of the race. I couldn't quite overhaul him. I just didn't. I think you end up being too concerned with not losing the position you've got, therefore not trying too hard to go and chase that one, because I could be guilty then of overdriving the car, and then it wouldn't really work as well, and I'd probably make mistakes and crash a bit too much. But yeah, for me, I was really pleased that I could hold on to John for a little while, but then he just kept edging away. There'd be like 1/4 of a second near each lap that he'd just pull away from me, and then that was it. It was bit of an unsurmountable gap then. But managed to stay with John on the lead lap, which is really positive. I don't think I've done that before. He usually laps me off for the past I think 8 times I've been to Ignition now, and I've never maintained the lead lap on with somebody like that. So I was really pleased with that. That's dead positive. Where that's left me now in the championship is 7th overall in the championship, so it's a good, consistent, solid start. So let's see what the rest of the rounds bring, and toodle pip, roll on Thursday. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching.